Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Friday, June 2nd, second day of the month, rounding out the week in equities. Still have a couple days left in the crypto week, of course, but equities up on the day. And the big news this morning was the Friday unemployment report as well as hourly wages. So hourly wages came in about the same month over month, a little bit less year over year. That is positive, not too positive, but definitely in the right direction. Unemployment rate is 3.7% from 3.5 predicted and 3.4 previous month. So that is moving in the direction the Fed wants and may certainly assist with the indication of another rate hike in June. The indication right now is that there's a 70% chance there will not be a rate hike. So only a 30% chance that there will be a rate hike, which is way less than the week started. The week started with 70% chance of a hike. Now it's only a 30% chance of a hike. So I would assume that this unemployment rate is going to likely decrease the likelihood of a hike as we move throughout next week. But obviously, we'll have to sift through the data. The one really weird thing, and this may be related to seasonality, because a lot of people are hiring before the summer, a lot of part-time leisure and travel. We obviously saw, airplane travel and general travel for Memorial Day was up. So they're expecting a bit of a increased summer for people getting out of the house. So I think that that's a bit of a reason, but it's very odd. I don't have a legitimate explanation for you, unfortunately, as to why the employment report technically added 50,000 jobs, but increased the unemployment rate by 3.7% without any decrease in jobs from the ADP employment either, which is very odd. But we'll have to digest this data as we get more information into next week. But my one thought is seasonality and these jobs being more part-time rather than full-time. So just a thought there. But I think equities are up, wage inflation's down, unemployment's up. That's what markets want to see right now, based on what the Fed is saying. So if we look at the dollar, big drop from the dollar, big jump this morning, which is, I think, a bit weird as well, considering the numbers that we got. So, getting some very topsy-turvy market action. The dollar is up and, definitely looks a bit strong, but it's getting, it's stalling right around those lows right there. So it'll either get rejected and move back lower or up here, but the dollar is less important these days. I mean, if we just head over to equities, I'll zoom out on the 4-hour, we'll add DXY right here. As you can see, some inverse, some correlated. So not really the best gauge, unfortunately, right now when we're talking about that type of price action. But I'm going to move out to the daily for equities because we zoomed through this 4260 level that I outlined to the Trade the Chain community yesterday, and I've been kind of talking about this level a little bit as we've been breaking above that 4200 level, but didn't expect it to really be consumed in one day. So if we look at how do we find the next level of resistance? Well, we look to the most recent high, relative to current price, and that would be the high from mid-August. And now that was a pretty important move as well, because it was basically a large deviation that actually created the lowest point that we went to on the chart for this cycle. So if we end up making it up here, then your two choices are start to stack shorts back down to that 4260 level, or start to stack longs on a break of the 4320 level to then start targeting this entire range right here. So, just to draw a couple of lines for you guys. So there's the high. We have another high right here. Then we have another high right here. And these highs and these lows are pretty nicely situated right there as well. So So when we're stacking up what may come next, these are obviously your bull targets if we get there. So, we made it through all of these lines, and I'm probably actually just going to start deleting a few of these here as I feel that they're growing less significant. We'll keep this one too. But I'm not going to dig into that too much here. But the moral of the story for equities is, we called out the 4260 level, so now this is resistance that needs to be turned into support. If you can hold 4260, head up to 4320, break above 4320, head up to 4386. Get rejected at 4260, head back down to probably at least these highs right here, so 4230 area, and then then you're talking about 4200 again if you break back here. So do something like that. So right now, I probably wouldn't recommend just jumping directly into equities. I mean, let's look at the boost from the daily close yesterday. So I guess equities are the futures are on a 24-hour, but it's another percent gain, and we're up 2.5% points from the recent low on Thursday. So quite the jump from equities. Definitely should be respected until it proves otherwise. So, the otherwise is a deviation back down here that moves lower. I'd probably start shorting all markets if we get something like that. But also important to consider, if that does happen, you can still survive on a tap here and then deviate back up. So, very important to consider your full context. But when we're talking about equities, strength is strength, but I wouldn't expect anything to go up in a straight line. It looks like it's stalling a little bit here heading in, as we start to close out the week. So I would expect probably flat, maybe a little bit of a pullback on Sunday, and then we'll see how Monday reacts, if we end up opening around the same price and moving higher, or if we end up, maybe we do a little bit of a double top on Monday, opens right here, and then we move back, something like that. So we'll have to see what happens on Monday, but just understand that any deviation back lower is bearish. And if you can hold the 4260 level, if we drop back and hold it, then probably start targeting up to 4320. So looking at Bitcoin, very, very, very confusing chart. I mean, equities are blasting higher. Let me remove these lines for you, because this is obviously, well, let's focus on this first, because this is what we told the TTC community. So, and you can still see it's very valid still due to the lack of volatility. So break above 27.2. You can start targeting 28. I'd probably target this level first, and then this level up here, which is the 28 level. So probably 27.5 and then 28, depending on, you'll probably see some volatility in between there. If we get rejected at 27.2, which does seem to be the case, not looking very pretty right there, I'd expect us to probably drop back to that 26.5 level, very critical level. As you can see, a lot of bounces at this level, twice deviated underneath this level. So very critical level if we end up dropping back to that direction. And then obviously if you break below 26.5, head down to that 25.8 level, near these lows right here. So, we could definitely still, there is no, I'm not seeing a confirmed rejection. It definitely looks like it is wanting to reject, but until it gets below this level right here, I'm probably, actually more so really that level would be the most valid short. But you could definitely start stacking a short here and then target down here. But I don't really like, why did that happen? I hit the space button, but I don't really like just creating a short right here. There's no nasty price action that makes me, say that this is giga bearish right now, especially with equities looking the way they do. So in my opinion, I think you can be patient. Wouldn't start just jumping into shorts here, but if we start to continue to crap down, this level right here is pretty critical. Break below that, you'll definitely tag that 26.5 level. So possibly, nice little scalp short beneath the 26.8 level down to 26.5. And then of course, above 27.2, you're targeting 27.5 and 28. It's pretty simple, in my opinion. You don't need to, even though I always give, different price levels and things like that, you don't need to automatically trade. You want to look for signals. And so this is something like for short-term scalping, tweezers near the lows. That was a scalp long up to obvious resistance at the 1 hour estimated trend moving average. So, tweezers here at resistance, that's a short. Tweezers here at resistance, that's a short. Your first, typically you want to try and long SFPs, but you want to actually see follow through, not too much follow through, based on that hourly candle right there, or the hourly buy candle. Now you have 3 tweezers with a sweep of the lows, plus you have a multiple large buy candles coming in. One, it's a pretty large buy candle after that SFP right there. So automatic long. Now you have, resistance. So, mini short, it held, near these lows right here. So, some relative strength. It's building market structure. So it was the low right here. Now it's formed a higher low. What you want to see is now a higher high, which is above the 27.2 level. To start, you need to get above this level and then form that higher high up here, and then then you'll start to really run. So if you just think about just general price action, what is the chart telling you right now? There's no clear signal of a short. We got this rejection right here. Obviously, that was a quick short if you took it, but it pretty much snapped back almost immediately. So if you wanted to short again, what I'd look for is a wick similar, 2 wicks similar to this coming up over and then coming back in. I would not just automatically start shorting this right now, because what if it just does something like this and then, does a double bottom here and then jumps higher? That's not the right trade to take. So you don't need to trade long right now, because we don't have any indication of, really good long signal. This was a very weak long signal, in my opinion, one I probably would not have taken, but this is the type of long signal that I want to take. This is the type of long signal that I want to take. So that's what I'm looking for to form. But also your long signal can also be a break of support. Break of resistance and heading higher, because this level has rejected every single time it's met. So if it accepts, probably a good chance of things heading higher. So that's just, that's how you approach your trades. Don't always have to, look at it, oh, it's at resistance, I need to short. No, it hasn't given you a signal for any which way right now, and you're basically just playing a guessing game, trying to gamble on the likelihood that it'll go down here without any real signal. So wait for the signal, take your trade. This is not the best short opportunity, because again, it can just grab these lows, slice back up higher, and you are better being patient, looking for a long down here rather than trying to short that down. And then you'll be pissed off and you won't catch the long, that moves higher. So if it happens, obviously. But moving on to Ethereum, a bit similar. Let's pull up the ETH BTC chart. It is moving higher. That's just like the infinite TWAP right here. And I'll remove some of these. Again, apologies if you watch my streams. Notice this has been coming up a lot. I don't know why these things end up appearing randomly, but we talked about this on the Trading Rebellion show yesterday. We just keep moving higher. We're above this level now, so that's pretty important. So I would expect us to probably move up here for either acceptance or rejection back to the trend. So right now, if you are longing, then ETH does look like the better asset to long than Bitcoin. Just look at the hourly setups. Well, that's 4 hour. I'm sorry, but a lot more positive price action, and ETH is above the weekly VWAP. Bitcoin can't even get above the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average since it broke through it on Tuesday. ETH is above the weekly VWAP, so very good sign there. So what we told the Trade the Chain community this morning was stay above the 1885 number, have a pretty solid chance to get up to 1923, break below the 1885 number, snap back to 1875, which we already got a glimpse of, very, very early in the morning. And then if you break below, 1875, then you'll probably, grab this liquidity down here. But I'll say right now, things don't look, horrible. They definitely don't look, too positive, but I will say ETH staying above, this deviation right here is something I very much like to see. Don't like to see this Darth Maul wake out resistance, but we are above the weekly VWAP and we're sitting just below this resistance level right here. So if we can get above this level where we've been wicking, then we can very much target that 1923 number. And it's good that we're sitting on top. We're sitting above this high and we're sitting above the weekly VWAP. So 2 good indications here for ETH longs. Maybe I wouldn't dive in just yet. If we snap back at this weekly VWAP, very good entry. I would not, just start diving in based on what I'm seeing from this current wick. If it closed, there's only 15 minutes in this hourly wick. So you got some time to come in and, maybe this, ends up engulfing these candles and then ends up moving higher. But, maybe I'd wait to see how we react again off the weekly view op, considering it's been difficult to get above the 1890, 1895 level. So, but the moral of the story is, bust above these highs, 1923, get rejected, go beneath the 1885 number, which is right around the weekly view op, slide down to 1875, break below 1875, slide down, near 1840, 1835. So, what we're doing, we're just playing it level to level, not trying to overextend ourselves. I think, thinking about good trade opportunities. So we're hovering above the weekly view op right now. It took several days and a lot of volatility, but hovering above the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average, deviating, a lot of wicks beneath it, always holding above it. So, obviously these tweezers right here with the deviation, good long, even this was a good long, up to this obvious resistance level of 1875. So if you're playing things level to level and you have certain metrics that that you notice are used as support and resistance in the context of price action, such as the weekly view op, resistance, a little bit of support, resistance, the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average, support, resistance, support, moves higher. Now it's got another, previous resistance level that it's now acting as support. So respect those indicators, respect those levels, and you'll have a good weekend. My general feeling, and last weekend I did have kind of a bullish feeling on the weekend, and we did end up having a pretty solid Saturday into Sunday. I'm not as bullish this weekend because we haven't seen really any reaction from crypto from after this reaction from equities. But I will say a lot of times, and I told the trade chain community this, is when equities move like this, a lot of times crypto will have a 12 to 24 hour delay. And I think last time it was around a 24-hour delay. Remember, this was our Friday for equities. This was our Friday. This is our Friday. So Bitcoin, Bitcoin and Ethereum had a very nice Saturday on the heels of these Fridays. And so very important to consider that. Now, I would not just start stacking longs because you're seeing, equities move higher, but it's very important to consider that the same thing happened last weekend. And, we should take note of patterns, and a lot of times things will move in patterns of 2 or 3. So very much something to observe. So I'm cautiously bullish on this weekend, and I think that we have a good opportunity to move higher. But I am not betting the house or the farm on it due to the lack of movement during U.S. trading hours. So something to consider going into the weekend. That is it for me. I wish everybody the best of luck this weekend. Have a safe, fun weekend. We'll be at the charts a little bit. Looking to stack some longs. Not in anything yet, but we're definitely feeling like we could definitely see a move higher this weekend. Although not jumping in too early. So good luck. Happy trading. Speak to everybody next week.